Hey, this is Jonathan Key, and I'm going to tell you how to have a good time from a social standpoint at BGCon with some things to do and things not to do. So you do want to fight what's called con crud. What that really means is observe cleanliness, take the shower, use deodorant, change clothes. If you're feeling sick, do everybody a favor and don't go play with people if you're feeling sick. I mean, I know it sucks, but if you're starting to feel bad, just either head home or head to your room and wait till the next day. Take some medicine and get a good night's rest. Do be kind. People are from all over the place. They have different views and expectations and stuff. And to me, it's always the best policy is to err on the side of kindness. How would you want to be treated? Don't learn a game at the table unless all the players have agreed to this and are willing to stick through it. So basically, one of the things that I would definitely recommend is when you go to someone who's learning a game, always ask, is there someone who's played this before, or is there someone who is able to teach this? Because if you're sitting there and all of a sudden they pull out the rule book, now you're stuck in a game, someone trying to read the rules while teaching it at the same time, that's a different conversation. You might be in a game for 4 or 5 hours that's only like a hour, 2 hour long game because you're just having to go through everything and learn as you go instead of someone who already knows the game and can kind of guide you through that process. Do teach somebody the rules to a game. So if you learn a game, it's always like in the hot games area, it's always a good idea to go ahead and pass that on next time. That pays it forward. If you don't know where to go and you don't know what you want to play, just go to the hot games room and see what people are playing. You literally can just kind of, it's not socially awkward to go there and kind of observe people playing. So that's sometimes what I do. I'll just go in there and kind of see what people are playing, kind of see how the game flow is, and do I want to learn this game? So the hot room game, there's typically 10 to 20 tables, and these are all games that are either going to be launched or just launched. Most of them, BGCon picks up at Essen, which is another convention in Europe, and it's like 50,000 people. So for perspective, Essen has 50,000 people, and BGGCon in the fall has probably 2,500 or so. So it's a much smaller convention, so it can be a little more intimate. But if you like the larger conventions, those can be fun too. I personally prefer 3,000 or less people because I think that that's kind of my sweet spot, mainly because you can get to know people and chances are you might play a game with them again or see them and be like, hey, they're looking for players. I'm going to go play with them. So back to our list of things to do and not to do is do get enough sleep. I would say at least 6 to 7 hours if you can. Me personally, I wake up wired at 6 or 7 in the morning. So no matter what time I go to sleep, I'm going to wake up and be ready to go. So which kind of leads me into I personally, what I would recommend, this is kind of a tip from someone who's been going for, I guess, 10 years almost. And I would say, do get a good breakfast because then that kind of carries you the rest of the day. The breakfast there is, I think, all you can eat. And it's like, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks or something like that. It can be a little bit expensive, but again, there's so much variety. Fill up on that. And then another tip I would give is and that's not on here, but do bring some snacks. So I would pack some drinks and some snacks, maybe if you have a hotel room, bring one of the coolers and store your stuff in there. And then they also have mini fridges. You can put your stuff and store that in the mini fridges. I would say also do eat out with strangers. One of the ways you can, for me personally, one of my favorite things to do is every convention, I try to meet someone during my dinner. Usually during dinner or lunch, one of them I'll call my family, and then the other one I'll be like, I'm going to sit with someone. They don't have anyone sitting with them. Sometimes I have people with me, but sometimes I don't. And I try to go and I sit next with them. Even if I do, I say, hey, let's go sit with this person. And I introduce myself. It's a great time to kind of make some friends because everyone's got to eat at some point. And that's an easy way to also meet people and make friends. So it's very easy because basically if you go to the Cafe Meeple and you pay, $10 for food, there's all these tables right next to the cafe. And you're not supposed to play games there between, I think, noon and 8 or something like that. So it's literally a space that's reserved for you to go eat your food, maybe socialize with people a little bit, and then go back to the main ballroom or to one of the smaller rooms as well. Another thing you could do is if you're kind of overloaded, if you're overloaded, you can just kind of sit there and eat your meal on your own. So whether you're an introvert and wanting to maybe refocus, or you're an extrovert and wanting to meet more people, both of those are valid. So do eat with strangers, do play games with strangers. Like I said, I recommend going and at least once during the convention, sitting down with people and playing a game with someone you've never met. So I think one of the things to consider is at BGGCon, as people have become more and more comfortable with this convention and more people know each other. I mean, some people have been going there for 10, 15, 20 years, or however long the first convention, I think, came out. I think Board Game Geek was founded in 2000. And so maybe the first one was 2003. I'm not sure. It's been going a long time. And basically, I would say a good 70% of people are probably just going to stick with the people that they know and the people that they came with to the convention, maybe their board game group or someone they're traveling with. Or maybe they make one or two friends and then they kind of hang out with those people. I usually hang out with my roommates a lot because typically we have the same schedule. But I mean, that 30%, 25 to 30% of the people, they're probably going to be having the teachers wanted, looking for player sign. And it's generally speaking, it's pretty easy to find someone to play with. I mean, I would say not more than 10, 15, 20 minutes. Push comes to shove. What I've done in the past is, this game, we have 3 players. I really want to, get a 4th player. I'll grab the box and just grab the sign, grab the box and hold it together and walk up and down the aisles. And invariably I'll find someone that wants to play whatever game I'm playing, right? Or hey, I'll try that one out. I'm not sure what it is, but what is it like? Oh, it's a deck builder, or it's a worker placement, or it's an engine. Oh, okay, great. I'll try that out. So it's pretty easy to do that. I would say 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes if you're reading a rule book and chose a game that's not as interesting to most people. That's another thing. If you do sit there for 20 or 30 minutes and no one is interested in the game that you're playing, maybe that's a sign you need to go back to the library, get a different game, and come out and play that. Or even better, put the game up, go to a table that they're looking for players and say, hey, would you guys be interested in, if I play this with you, would you be interested in trying this game out with me? And chances are they'll say, yeah, sure, I'll try it. And, that's another way to kind of get the games that you want to play. I will say this, don't take the games too seriously. So as someone who was very competitive, especially earlier, I'm still competitive, but to me, winning is the goal. It's not the end goal. Like, I want people to have a fun time. Like the other day, I think I mentioned viticulture. I know I wasn't having a fun time anymore where I was almost winning the game and other people were barely even starting. So don't take the game too seriously. Kind of learn to laugh at yourself a little bit. I made a bad move or whatever. And ultimately, you're just there to have fun and don't ruin the experience for other people. Another thing I would say, I don't think that's on here either, is I would not say after playing a game, especially that someone just taught you and they spent 2 or 3 hours playing with you, I would not say, man, I really hate this game. Or, instead I might say something like, well, maybe this game isn't for me. I might play it again if someone brought it out, but I'd like to see what else there's available at the game library or something like that. So don't take the game too seriously. Do play games more than once and play oldies but goodies. One of the things that I like to do, and this is just me, so you're going to have to find your own rhythm, but my rhythm is I learn new games in the morning after a very good breakfast, and then maybe learn a game going up to lunch, eat a late lunch, and then around 1 or 2, and then I go and I play some more games, maybe games that I'm not as familiar with, but after like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I usually want to play games that are shorter or that I've already played before. Like for me, my go-to game is kind of Dune Imperium. If I don't know what I want to play, I'll play Dune Imperium because I know I've taught that game multiple times. To me, at least, it's kind of relaxing. It is kind of a puzzle, right, to figure out the right moves or whatever, right strategy. And you're kind of having to react to people. But I go to a game that I've played before, maybe a classic game. and play that. Or, I'll just grab some games from my bag. Which reminds me, you do not have to bring games to the convention. Again, there are 8,000 games at the convention. So I would also, besides we talked about a cup or a bottle, a charger, clothes, deodorant, cash or card, charger, I think I already said that. And then I would bring a bag. So you're going to find that you're going to have games that you're going to get at registration. You're going to find that you might want to not have to carry around all these, if you have a game and a friend has a game, maybe just stick it into your board game bag. If you don't have one, oftentimes at the convention, board game conventions will have board games bags for sale. And for example, I picked up a couple that were $50 each. I paid $35 for each of them. So I paid $70 for two really nice board game bags. To give you an idea, my first board game bag that I got was, and the company I think is out of business, was like $115 or $150, something ridiculous like that. So very reasonably priced to get a board game bag. Highly recommend it. You can also put snacks in there. You can put your board games in there that you brought. So I would definitely say play the oldies but the goodies. Don't keep games checked out of the library when you aren't playing them. So as a common courtesy to people, there's two types of games. The first type is typically you can check it out for either 4 or 8 hours or something like that. And then the other ones doesn't have a time limit because those are the older games. So the hotter games that are newer, there's going to be a time limit. So just try to be respectful of other players. And if you are going to check out a game, especially one that's, has a time limit on it, do try to get it back to the library in time, just so that other people can experience and enjoy the game as well. They have a limited number of copies of games. The other thing I would say, another tip that's not on here, is go and check out a game right before the library closes. Usually the library closes around midnight or 1 o'clock. And I would go right before the library closes and check out a game. Why is that? Because you can play it and that evening still, if you want, or you can have it, you can have it when you wake up in the morning, because the game library, I think, opens at 8. So you basically are ensuring that in the morning you have something to start with and you don't have to wait for the library to open, or, you can play a game at night. So
let us know, when you get 8 hours, is it 8 hours from the time you check it out, or 8 hours during their opening during hours that they're open?
So I believe that it's really just the time for checked out games from the library is when they're open. So if they're closed, you also get a little bit of a grace period, right? So if I go and I check out one of let's just call it an 8-hour game. I think it's 8 hours, or maybe it's 4 hours, but whatever that is, the one that has the time limit, I can go check out the game, and then I can have that kind of hot game the next day, or a newer game the next day, and it doesn't start until the library opens again at 8 o'clock. So that's another way to get a good game that you want to try out, but maybe don't have the time for that night. Do explore the convention spaces. One of the resources that I post in here is the map. They have a really good layout. There's a couple stories. You can go to a ballroom upstairs. You can go to a ballroom downstairs. For those of you concerned that might have autoimmune diseases or lower immune systems, or maybe you have a family member that has that challenge, there are also, there's a space for you to go to wear a mask. That's a lot of people that you're going to be around. So that's, I would say also, to kind of go along with that, do wash your hands regularly. I can't tell you how many times people go into the restroom and I see them not washing their hands after going to the bathroom. That's really disgusting. Don't be that person. Do wash your hands regularly, and make sure to stay hydrated. The last thing to do, in my opinion, would be to have an attitude of gratitude, right? So basically, thank the staff, whether it's the hotel staff, because they're there to help make your experience better. Thank the people that are running the event. They're called Team Geek. And then also the organizers will have a little different shirt. But I would thank them a lot, because as someone who runs a convention, it takes a lot of energy and effort to do that. what you see is a result of hours and hours and hours of planning and setup, and just they're there to make things better for you. And so just be grateful. Just thank them. I would also thank people who teach you games. Every time someone teaches a game, whether I like it or don't like it, I always say thank you. I appreciate you teaching me this game, because they took time out of their convention. Time is a resource, and so they took time out of their convention to teach you this game. Also, thank people whether you win or lose. I mean, if you win, great. If you lose, great. Just remember to be grateful for the opportunity to play with people. And I think that's kind of contagious too. So if you do that, then other people will do it, and then it kind of creates and continues to create an environment, which I think is already there. But especially when you're dealing with strangers, right? You don't know their situation, and so just be thankful and grateful and kind to people. And that's what I would recommend. And so those are the do's and don'ts for BGGCon. That allows you to have a really good time from a social standpoint, do's and don'ts. If you are at the convention, feel free to say hi to me if you see me. And I'll probably be the guy with the headphones on. And I'd love to chat and get to know you. Hey, if we can, let's play a game together. If you want, like and subscribe, and I'm sure I'll be putting out more of this content and other board game related content soon. Thanks for stopping by.